Right half back, Alan Butler.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Carrigadrohid on the banks of the River Lee on this historic occasion, historic for local television, as it's the first opportunity we've had to cover a Cork County football final this afternoon. It's the junior football final between J.A.F.F of Ballyvourney and Clyda Rovers. Historic, as it's the first time that two finals have been played in Kilmurray Parish, of course here at Carrigadrohid on the eastern end of the parish. It's the junior final, and at the western end at Clyda it's the under-21 final. Historic because it's the first time that Clyda Rovers and J.A.F.F have met in a county championship game. Ballyvourney, the club that is this year celebrating its centenary, having been founded in 1888, won Mid-Cork Championships in 1928, 67, 70, 71, 73, and of course 1988. They won the county junior title in 1973 when they beat Mitchelstown 2-15 to 0-5. Mitchelstown, who that year were representing the North Cork division, and how can Clyda Rovers, who are of course also today representing the Northwest division, how will they do? And Clyda Rovers, who are today playing in their third county final, having failed in 1911 when incidentally they were playing in the Mid-Cork division. Their last stint at a county title was in 1980 when they were beaten by Kilmurray on a scoreline of 1-4 to just 1 point. The club has been in existence since 1896 and have contested 10 North Cork junior hurling and football finals in the last 10 years and have won 5. Let's give you the Clyda Rovers team. Clyda Rovers, who are togged out over there to our right in the black and amber strip. In goal is Paul Welch, the full back line. On the right is Cathal Cronin, in the centre is Noel Carey, and on the left is John Roach. The half back line is Tim O'Callaghan, in the centre Mick O'Shea, and on the left is John Buckley. At midfield is Jerry O'Sullivan and Mick O'Sullivan, who are not related. Their captain in the half-forward line is Cormac O'Sullivan, in the centre is Brendan Caleher, and on the left is Brendan Welsh, and their full-forward line is Dennis Corbett, Dan O'Sullivan and Paddy Curtin. Turn to the Ballyvourney team, dressed in their blue and white strip. Fridden Ballyvourney, Sakul, Mihal O'Creadon, on Lena Lawncool, Yesh, Mihal Brennock, Mihal Olinchig, Ilar, Paddy O'Veraku, August Erclay, Donald Olinchig, on Lena Lacool, Erclay, Alan de Butler, Sean O'Halleen, August Liam O'Furha, Lorna Parker, Gerodo Olinchig, August Sean O'Tuma, on Lena Latosaha, Yesh, Diarmid Olinchig, Ilorna Parker, Tá Diarmid McCarrig, August Shea Diarmid on captain, August Clay, Diarmid O'Horha, on Lena Lawn Tosaha, the J.A.F.F, Tá Kevin Olinchig, Tá Coleman O'Tumaha, August Tá Donnelly O'Haleha, Clay. Now the main changes on the Ballyvourney team since the semi-final is that Paddy Lynch has been dropped, Diarmaid McCarthy moves into the centre, and Jerry Hoare, who came on as a sub, retains his place at number 12. As I said earlier, this is Ballyvourney's first time being back at a county junior final since 1973. So far this year they have beaten Clondrohid after a replay in the first round of the Mid-Cork Championship. Their next game was against Ivlera in the semi-final of the Mid-Cork Championship. They beat a much fancied Grenagh side by a score of 12 points to 6, and in the final proper they beat Canavy by 2 points. In the quarter-final of the county they beat Cove, and in the semi-final just 2 weeks ago they beat Newcestown by 8 points to 5. The team selectors Sean Cronin, Coleman Toomey of course, who was the trainer, and Tom Butler. And a link going back to 1973 is that Jerry Hoare, Jerry Lynch, Diarmaid McCarthy, Coleman Toomey and Paddy Lynch were on that team. Paddy, of course, who's been dropped for today's game. Clyda Rovers, who come from the Mourneabbey parish, just 5 miles south of Mallow. This year they've beaten Deal Rovers, Kildare and Mitchelstown in the North Cork final, Shamrocks and St Finbarrs in the county semi-final, and this year was their 3rd time winning the North Cork Championship. The team is trained by John Looney and the selectors are Derry Murphy, Eddie Welsh and Pat O'Shea. Our referee for this afternoon's game is Eamon Porter. So right now, as we look out to the centre of the field, referee there just having one last word with the midfield pairing. That's Jerry O'Sullivan and Mick O'Sullivan for Clyda Rovers, and of course Jerry Lynch and Sean Toomey for Ballyvourney. So everything now in readiness for what we hope will be an exciting game. Up goes the ball, and right is picked up there by Mick Sullivan, and Mick Sullivan fisted out to Timmy Callan, but it's intercepted there by Diarmaid McCarthy, and Diarmaid slips, but sends the ball out there to the far side to Jerry Hoare, and Jerry now will kick it right-footed and put Ballyvourney on the attack. And now it's Cathal Cronin going in there, but the ball is picked up there by Paul Welsh, and it's a free, one of the Ballyvourney players, Dan Healy, looks to be hurt in a clash there with one of the Clyda Rovers defenders, but right now it's Paul Welch placing the ball. So Paul now coming up and kicking it out to the far side of the field. It will drop down about 35 metres now, and it's Diarmaid McCarthy, and Diarmaid is fouled, and it will be a free end to Navarone, their first chance to so now that's Dan Healy there going out to take this free about 35-40 yards out. Dan, who's the free taker in chief for Navarone, coming up now, kicking right-footed, and in fact the ball is gone out to the right and wide, so first chance there for Navarone, free by Dan Healy, gone out to the right and wide, so Paul Welch, who's been certainly very busy in the first minute, coming up now and kicking it, a bad kick out. It's picked up there by Noel Carey. Noel, who's one of the longest serving members of the Clyda Rovers team, who's been playing with him since 1970, full back on the team, fouled, and who previously played at centre field for them, coming up now and kicking this one. It'll drop down just short of the halfway line. It's now Jerry Lynch, Jerry stalwart for Ballyvourney, and now it's Noel Carey's under that, but it's John Roach. John, who's an accountant with Ballyclaw and Mallow, it's intercepted there by Kevin Lynch, and the ball goes out to the far side to Brendan Kaler, but it's Johnny Allen. Johnny get hit now for Ballyvourney, and we'll put him on the attack, kicking it right down, out and over the sideline on the far side of the field, and it will be a line ball to Clyda Rovers. And I'm delighted to say that joining me here this afternoon is Donal Lehan from Ballyvourney, who's going to give us his observation of the game. Donal, early moments.
Well, Ballyvourney seem to be doing fairly well at the moment, but their play is a little bit scattered from the point of view that they had opportunities to score, but they have no score got yet, but they seem to be sitting down reasonably well. The goalie from Clyda Rovers has had an opportunity to show his paces, and the back line seemed to be fairly sound.
So from that line ball by John Buckley, it's now Paddy Curtin, and Paddy is away out there on the sideline, but the ball has gone off of a Ballyvourney defender, off of Sean Toomey, and Sean, of course, playing at midfield. The ball gone out off of him, and it will be a line ball to Clyda Rovers. to be taken by their midfield player. That's number 8, Jerry O'Sullivan. Jerry coming up now, kicking right footed. This is Clyda Rovers' first attack. The ball goes out to the left, and it's gone away there from Paddy Curtin, and it's picked up there by Jerry Lynch. And Jerry is fouled, and it will be a free to Navabawn. So Mickey Lynch coming up to take this one. Mickey now will drop this one about, it's up there goes Mick Sullivan, but Mick loses it, and it's now Dermot Lynch. Dermot now for Ballyvourney turning right and kicking the ball down to Tim O'Callaghan. Tim, who's played inter-county with Cork, and it's Alan Butler now, and Alan will send it to Dermot Lynch, and Dermot now solos 10-20 metres, kicks it right across here into the centre, but back there goes Cathal Sullivan, and Cathal shot is blocked down by Liam Ford, and back goes Cathal, and surrounded by 1-2 Ballyvourney players, but gets his kick in, and it's picked up there by Tim O'Callaghan. Tim dodges past one Ballyvourney player, comes forward now, solos, and kicks it out to the side of the field, where it's gone out over the sideline off of Dennis Corbett, number 13 there, Dennis, kicking the ball out over the sideline, straight down here in front of us, and it will now be Johnny Allen. Johnny, centre half back on the team, had a poor game in the first half against Newcestown, but coming up now and taking this one, slips as he does so, and sends it right down here out over the sideline, and it will be line ball to Clyda Rovers. Cathal Cronin running out for that one, but the ball beat him out over the sideline, so luckily for him, it will be a line ball for Clyda Rovers. So Cathal Cronin now coming up and kicking this one up into Mick Shea, Mick and Jerry Hoare being spoken to there, going in. So Mick O'Shea coming up now. Mick, who's a former Kerry 21, it's blocked down there by Jerry Lynch, and Jerry, determination in his face, coming up and kicking this one right footed. Will drop down about right on the edge of the square. It's fisted right in there, and fisted kicked out by Cathal Cronin. And it's now Jerry Hoare, and Jerry a chance to put Ballyvourney on the score sheet, but it's blocked down there by Paul Welch, and it's picked up there just on the edge of the square and fisted right in there, but in fact it will be a free out to Clyda Rovers. And also I'm delighted to say that joining me from Clyda Rovers is Willie Cronin. Willie, what's your observations in the first 5 minutes?
Well, for the first few moments, Ballyvourney have had the better of the game. They appear to have settled down far better than the Clyda Rovers players, but given a few moments they may sort themselves out, and I think they're coming a little bit more into the game just now.
And right now Clyda Rovers are on the attack. They're over on the far side of the field, and it's Paddy Curtin. Paddy slips, regains himself, still soloing forward. A chance for Curtin, and he kicks it out to the left and wide. So chances going a begging on both sides. Ballyvourney have had 2 chances so far, and still they have no score on the scoreboard as we come up to the 6th minute. And right now it will be Micheál Creedon for Navabawn. Leishan Kickamock. It will drop down around 50 metres out, fisted out there by John Buckley, going right out towards the sideline, but it's Alan Butler getting a foot to it, and referee Porter has seen an infringement, and it will be a free to Ballyvourney to be taken by Jerry Lynch. Referee going over there and having a word with Dermot Lynch and with John Buckley for Clyda Rovers. That little infringement is now sorted out to his satisfaction as Lynch comes up and chips it forward to Dermot Lynch, and Dermot back now to Jerry. What can Jerry do with this? Can he lob it right into the square? It's up on a high one, going out to the right, and in fact the ball has gone out to the right and wide. So as we come up to the 8th minute of the first half here at scenic Carrigadrohid in this, the County Junior 1 football final, it's still no score. Ballyvourney and Clyda Rovers in the 1988 Junior 1 football final. As Welsh kicks this one out, it will drop down around 40-50 metres out, picked up there by Liam Ford, and Liam is tackled, but he still manages to get his kick in. And now it's Dermot McCartan. Dermot, who's the captain of the team, fisted into Jerry Hoare. What can Jerry do with this one? Kicks it right-footed in and over the bar, and it's the first score of the game for Navarone, scored there by Jerry Hoare after 8 minutes. First score for Ballyvourney. Ballyvourney now lead by 1 point to Clyda Rovers, no score. So now Paul Welch, who's been very, very busy here in the first few minutes, kicks this one out, and it's picked up there by Mick O'Shea. Mick chips it out to the side of the field to Cormac Sullivan. Cormac now, the captain of the team, kicks it now left-footed, sends it down to Dennis Carr, but Dennis, who had the chance there a few moments ago, rounds a Ballyvourney player, and now sends it out to the far side of the field to Brendan Kaler. Brendan, who's out here on the right, overplays the ball, and it will be a free to Navarone. So it will be a chance here for Donal Lynch. No, in fact, it's Johnny Allen who's going back there to take this one. Johnny standing well back, wanting to drive this one, I'm sure, way down over the halfway line. Coming down, it will drop, in fact, right almost on the halfway line, up their ice for it. And it's now Alan Butler. Alan, who won the Man of the Match award at the Mid-Cork final, playing very well in the first few minutes. It's going out there towards Cahillagher for Clyda Rovers, and in fact it's kicked in right over the bar there by Dan Healy. Dan picking up a snapshot about 14 metres out and sending that one over the bar. And so after 10 minutes of the first half here at the Carrigadrohid, Ballyvourney, who've scored 2 points in the last 2 minutes, now lead by those 2 points to Clyda Rovers, no score. Donal and Ballyvourney seem to be coming much more into it in the last few minutes.
Touching fear to Ballyvourney the one of his Octa Clyda Rovers also those sorts of work it is because I said non seen is still it.
And now it's Dennis Corbett back to Dan O'Sullivan, and Dan now chipping this one right in, but in fact it's going in towards Brendan Welch. The ball goes away from Brendan though, and it's now back out to Dan O'Sullivan. What can Dan do with this? He's surrounded by several Ballyvourney players. It's fouled by one of them, and it will be a free in to Clyda Rovers, their first chance to get on the scoreboard. And now it is Brendan Cahillagher. Brendan, who's the centre half forward on the team, chips this one out to Callahan. Timmy Callahan kicks though left-footed and rather hopelessly out to the left. A chance there for Clyda Rovers, but unfortunately for O'Callaghan it was kicked out to the left and wide. And so after 11 and a quarter minutes here at Carrigadrohid, it's still Ballyvourney leading by those 2 points. First point scored by Jerry Hoare, and of course Donal Healy sending that snapshot over the bar there as Micheál Creedon comes up now and kicks it left-footed out to the far side of the field there. Foul there on Mick O'Sullivan, and it will be a free in to Clyda Rovers. And now it is Mick O'Shea. Mick, of course, who played under 21 for Kerry and whose father is in fact a coach on the Clyda Rovers team. Mick kicking this one, it'll drop around the edge of the square. It's picked up there by Dan O'Sullivan, but Donal Lynch gets it away from him. And now it's Sean Toomey. Sean, who is playing midfield but is now back clearing his defence and sends this one right down to Coleman Toomey. Coleman, of course, who's the trainer of the team, gets that one up, is surrounded by Clyda Rovers, and in fact is fouled by Jerry O'Sullivan over there on the far side of the field. So yet another chance for Ballyvourney to launch an attack as Jerry Lynch comes up and sends it straight short one to Dermot McCarthy. Dermot back now to Jerry, and Jerry will kick a high one right into the square out here to the left hand side, and it's picked up there by Coleman Toomey, and Coleman is fouled right on the edge of a square by Tim O'Callaghan, and it will be a gift chance for Ballyvourney to increase their lead. And now it is Dermot Lynch just to the left of the goal, coming up now. Will he tap this one over? That he does. And so after 13 minutes of the first half here at Carrigadrohid, it's Ballyvourney 3 points, Clyda Rovers no score. Willie and Clyda Rovers seem to be going astray there in the last few minutes. What changes can you see them implementing? Because certainly it's been all Naval ball in the last few minutes.
Well, I think they're just struggling a little at centre field at the moment, but it's early days yet, and I expect that they will get into the game quite soon. And at the moment, Jerry Sullivan is taking it up the field for them.
And now Jerry kicks that one, but as he does so, he is fouled. Our referee Porter spots an infringement, and it will be a free to Clyda Rovers about 30 metres out. And now it will be Brendan Kelleher to take this free just from where the ball landed, asking for permission to go and seize the ball placed properly. Now standing about 7 metres back, coming up now, kicking this one low. In fact, it's blocked out there, and over on the far side of the field it's Alan Butler. But it's blocked there by Paddy Curtin, and it goes back to Alan Butler, and Alan is fouled way over there on the far side of the field by Dan O'Sullivan, and the referee going down. There's a little bit of argy-bargy on there down on the far side of the field between both sides, and it now looks as if the referee will throw the ball in. So Jerry Lynch and Brendan Kelleher going in for this one, and it's from the resulting throw-in. It looks as if Lynch has been fouled, and it will be a free to Ballyvourney. And now it is Mick Lynch standing well back. Now Mick coming and kicking this one down the far side of the field, up there, rise for it. It's Mick Sullivan getting a hand to it there, but referee again throws in the ball, and right now it's Ballyvourney on the attack again, and the ball goes right down to the far side of the field there to Coleman Toomey. Coleman trying to pick it up, failing to do so, succeeding now, but in fact picking the ball off the ground, and it will be a free to Clyda Rovers over there on the far side of the field, about 40 metres out, right out over on the sideline. And now it's Tim O'Callaghan, chipping it straight in there to the hands though of Diarmuid McCarthy, and Diarmuid going out over the sideline with it, and it will be a line ball to Mick O'Shea and to Clyda Rovers. Mick just short of the halfway line. How far can he send this? It'll drop down around 35 metres out, and now it's O'Callaghan sending it straight to Cormac O'Sullivan. What can Cormac do with this? He kicks it right in, but Squandramania there again, and so after 16 minutes it's still Ballyvourney leading by 3 points to Clyda Rovers, and no score. A beautiful day here at the Carrigadrohid ground, not a puff of wind. Marvellous weather for this time of the year. As Micheál Creedon comes up now and kicks this one, and will drop down around 45 metres. Callaghan sending it to Paddy Curtin. Now Paddy steadying himself, sending it back into O'Callaghan. O'Callaghan is being harried and harassed, and in fact it will be a free in to Clyda Rovers, a free in about 21 metres out, and so will this be the first opportunity for Clyda Rovers to put their name on the score sheet, as Brendan Kelleher going back to place the ball. So can Brendan put Clyda Rovers on the score sheet? They've had a number of opportunities so far, but what can he do now as he comes up and chips this one right-footed and chips it over the bar? And so as the crowd applaud that score by Brendan Kelleher after 17 and a half minutes, it's Clyda Rovers 1 point, but Ballyvourney still lead this County Junior 1 football final by 3 points to 1. Now it's Micheál Creedon kicking this one out to the centre of the field. It's Brendan Kelleher. Brendan out to Cormac Sullivan, and Cormac now chipping it forward to but it's picked up there by Jerry Hoare, and Jerry kicks it right out over to the far side of the field. John Buckley trying to get to there, and in fact it's a foul there on Jerry Lynch by Jerry O'Sullivan, and it will be a free to Ballyvourney just inside the halfway line. Now Jerry standing well back, coming up now and kicking the ball right footed, kicking it straight down the centre. It's coming out to the side of the field, picked up there by Dan Healy. Now Dan kicking it right in and over the bar, and so if Clyda Rovers can get scores down at the other end of the field, Navarone coming straight back there to Dan Healy, and so after 18 and a half minutes, Ballyvourney increased their lead to those 3 points again. They lead 4 points to 1. Donal.
Well, at this stage of the game, one would say that the Ballyvourney veterans, we'll call them, are playing very well. Jerry Lynch, Jerry Free is playing great game, and Donal Healy has 2 points. So at the moment, they're all playing well, really. But Clyda Rovers can't be taken for granted, because they can bring up the field, and here they come again.
And right now it's Sean Toomey clearing his lines there and sending it out towards the trainer Coleman Toomey, but it's intercepted there for Clyda Rovers and sent out here to Brendan Kaler. The game livening up in the last few minutes. It's now Cormac O'Sullivan. Cormac soloing forward. He's around 25 metres out. The ball is kicked away from him though and kicked out by Johnny Allen. Johnny going out after himself, slips and fouls. He regains his composure and is fouled though by one of the Clyda Rovers defenders, and it will be a free there to Ballyvourney. Referee Porter going out, warning one of the Minters to stay off the pitch, and having a word with one of the Clyda Rovers players, Cormac O'Sullivan. And now it will be a free there to Ballyvourney, to be taken by the man who was fouled. That's Johnny Allen. This game certainly hasn't livened up in the last few minutes. We've had points on either side, as Allen comes up now and kicks this one into the centre, up there right for it. Picked up there, and Diarmuid McCarthy is the one who comes out of that melee. Diarmuid is fouled, complains to the referee about an infringement there by one of the Clyda Rovers players. Referee waves everyone away from it, and right now it will be Jerry Lynch. Jerry now will chip this one forward, and it's Diarmuid McCarthy, and Diarmuid will kick it out to the far side of the field. High ball will drop down around 21 metres out. Ball bobbling around there, and referee going in, and it looks as if it's going to be a hot ball. So Jerry Lynch and Jerry Sullivan going for that one, but it's kicked right in there towards the goal. A snapshot by Diarmuid Lynch, and Diarmuid kicking that one in a snapshot, as I said, but kicks it out to the right and wide. And so after 21 minutes and 15 seconds, it's still Navarone leading by 4 points to 1 as the ball goes out to the far side of the field. It's picked up there by Diarmuid McCarthy. Diarmuid now steadying himself, kicking the ball right in towards the centre. It's picked up there by Timmy Callaghan, and Timmy out to Cormac O'Sullivan. Cormac sending it out here to the side of the field to Kaler, but Kaler misjudges the pass, and it comes to number 6, that's Johnny Allen, and Johnny will kick a high one down to this side of the field, and it's picked up there by Timmy Callaghan, and it looks as if Coleman Toomey there being spoken to by referee Porter for fouling O'Callaghan. Referee having stern words with Coleman Toomey, sure warning him as to his future conduct. And now it will be O'Callaghan to take this free. Comes up and kicks it out to this side of the field there. Brendan Kaler under the dropping ball, fists it down to Cormac O'Sullivan, and Cormac will send it in towards Dan O'Sullivan, and Dan is still sends it back to Dennis Corbett. Dennis going right in towards the edge of the square, still travelling, overplays the ball, much to the annoyance of the Clyda Rovers supporters and to the joy of the Ballyvourney supporters. Overplays the ball, and it will be a free out on the edge of the square to the Navarone keeper, that's Micheál Creedon. Donald, the game certainly has livened up there in the last few minutes.
Oh, it certainly has. Well, Diarmuid McCarthy, Jerry Free, Jerry Hoare, they're all playing well, and some of the young fellas, Alan Butler and Diarmuid Lynch.
And from the kick out, the ball is kicked right in by Jerry Sullivan off Clyda Rovers, but in fact it's kicked out over the sideline, out here to our right. And so Paddy Murphy, who's the full-back on the team, coming out to take this this line ball. Johnny Allen has taken the last few, but this time it's Paddy Murphy, and Paddy kicks it into the centre. And Sean Toomey is fouled by Mick O'Sullivan. And it will be Johnny Allen, who is the centre half-back on the team. And we noticed that there's changes on the Ballyvourney team that's in the half-back line, where Alan Butler and Liam Ford have changed wings. And from that free, it's the ball is there in the centre of the field. It's Damon McCarthy being fouled there by Mick O'Shea for Clyda Rovers, and being spoken to by referee. And we noticed that there's changes on the Clyda Rovers team as well. That's Paddy Curtin is brought out to the wing. And from the free by Jerry Lynch, it's Tim Callahan being fouled there, and it will be a free to Clyda Rovers. A lot of frees coming into this game in the last minute or so. We're coming up now to the 25th minute of the first half here at Carrigadrohid. The score is still Ballyvourney leading by 4 points to 1. And from the free, which is very shortly, it's Cormac O'Sullivan kicking that one, or going off of Cormac out over the sideline there, off of Cormac O'Sullivan. It will be a chance for Jerry O'Sullivan. Takes a short one into Dan Healy. Dan now looking around to spot his options, still travelling in, being harassed and harried, but Dan kicking that one in and kicking it over the bar, and a marvellous point there by Dan Healy for Ballyvourney. And so after 26 minutes in this County Junior 1 football final, Ballyvourney leads by 5 points to 1. Certainly Ballyvourney have started off perhaps much better than any of the games that we've seen them in this year. Certainly their midfield has been very, very much on top so far. And from the melee there in the centre of the field, it's Tim O'Callaghan. Tim kicking it out to the far side of the field, but it's intercepted there by Liam Ford, and Liam sends it straight to Johnny Allen. Johnny trying to burrow his way forward. It's blocked down there by Clyda Rovers, and Allen still goes after it, and the ball goes out towards the centre of the field towards Diarmuid McCarthy. Diarmuid is dispossessed, and it's now Tim O'Callaghan. Tim kicking it over to this side of the field to Dennis Corbett. Dennis looking up and fisting the ball forward to Cormac O'Sullivan. Clyda Rovers now on the attack as the ball goes down here to the right hand side, and in fact it's being a foul there by Alan Butler, and it will be a free in to Clyda Rovers, a chance for Clyda Rovers to launch another attack, and Brendan Cahill is the one who's going out there to take this one. Now can Brendan manufacture a point out of this one? Perhaps he's too far out to kick it directly over the bar. He kicks it right in towards the centre, up there right where the ball goes right across the square. Oohs and ahs from the crowd, but luckily for Neva Bawn, the ball went out to the left and wide. Willie, even though Clyda Rovers have come back into the game in the last minute or so, anytime they've gone down and it looked like scoring a point, Ballyvourney have come straight back up and replied.
That is quite true, and indeed it's very important at this particular time of the game that they get a score, because Ballyvourney have now a lead of 4 points, which is quite considerable, and it is very necessary that they get back and get a score very soon, or else the game will slip away from them.
And right now, from that puck out, or from the kick out, a free to Clyda Rovers. And now it's Mick O'Shea coming up and chipping this one out to the left, and it's Paddy Curtin, and Paddy now trying to come out to make room for himself, twists and turns and kicks it right in towards the edge of the square. It's picked up there by Donald Lynch, and Donald will clear his lines, and it's fisted on further there, and now it's Neva Bond on the attack as the ball goes down over the far side of the field there with Dermot Lynch. Dermot looking up now and chipping this one right out towards open space on the far side of the field. And now it's John Roach. John going back there and coming away with the ball and sending it to John Buckley, and John back to Noel Carey. Noel is slips and fouled, and it will be a free there to Clyda Rovers, a free there on Noel Carey. Switches there on the Clyda Rovers back line. That's Cathal Cronin and John Roach. They've switched wings. And from the free, it's kicked out over the sideline on the far side of the field, just directly here in front of us on the halfway line, far side of the field, and it will be now a line ball to Ballyvourney as we come up to the 29.5 minutes gone here in the first half. And further changes on the Clyda Rovers team. Cormac O'Sullivan is gone out to midfield. Cormac, who's the captain of the team, and Mick Sullivan has taken his place in the half-forward line. And now it's John Buckley. John getting the ball over there on the far side of the field, but it's dispossessed by Coleman Toomey, and Coleman right out over on the far side of the field there is kicking the ball straight in towards the centre here. It's picked up there by Dan Healy, and Dan kicking that one over the bar. And so as we come up to the 30th minute of the first half here at Carrigadrohid, Dan Healy increasing the Neva-born lead. They now lead by 6 points to 1. 6 points to 1 for Clyda Rovers, a considerable lead. As Paul Welch, who's been very, very busy here in the first half. And so as referee Porter blows the half-time whistle here at Carrigadrohid, the half-time score is Ballyvourney 6 points and Clyda Rovers 1. Ballyvourney, who scored points to Jerry Hoare after 8 minutes, Dan Healy after 10 minutes, Dermot Lynch after 13 minutes. Clyda Rovers first score on the score sheet came after 17 minutes through a point from Brendan Cahill, but within 1 minute Dan Healy had scored the next point for Ballyvourney. Dan, who has scored 4 of Ballyvourney's 6 points here in the first half so far, he went down the field and scored a snap point after 18.5 minutes. He came back and scored another point after 26 minutes, and of course there, just on the stroke of half-time, he put Ballyvourney's last point over. And so at half-time in this county Junior 1 football final, Ballyvourney lead on a scoreline of 6 points to Clyda Rovers 1 point. Now joining me here during the interval at half-time in the Junior 1 football final at Carrigadrohid are the two men whose voices you heard there during the first half. That's Willie Cronin from Clyda Rovers and Donal Lehan from Ballyvourney. Willie, if I can turn to you, you must be very disappointed with Clyda Rovers' performance in the first half.
Indeed I am, insofar as they are capable of far better football than they're exhibiting there today. The more direct play, I think, of Ballyvourney is paying dividends. Our boys are launching with too many short passes, and I think more direct play would pay more dividends for them. They appear to be nervous at the start, but that should not have worn off, and their attacks are not paying dividends, and it will be essential that they get back into the game without delay immediately the second half restarts.
Donal, on the other hand, Ballyvourney's midfield has been very, very much on top today so far. They've had problems at midfield so far this year. How big a bearing is the fact that Jerry Lynch and Sean Toomey are playing so well at midfield? How big a bearing has that had on the game?
Oh, it certainly has a great bearing on the game, because it is a pivotal spot, and today Jerry Lynch is more or less at his ease at centre field. But that doesn't mean to say that the rest of the team are just sitting down, because Clyda Rovers are well able to attack, but their attacks are broken up, and they themselves are to blame sometimes, because they've had a few opportunities there where they could have scored and they didn't score. On the other hand, the Ballyvourney forwards are also playing well. Now Donald Healy, who wasn't playing very good in other games during the year, has had a great game so far. He has hardly missed any chances at all. At the very beginning of the game, Ballyvourney were a bit Flahul, we'll say, with wides. They had a number of wides, but they are after settling down very well into the game, and if they can keep it up, even though I think that they have the opportunity, they have an advantage. I think playing downfield here probably is an advantage, and there's a slight wind, I'd imagine.
Willie, the fact that it's 5 weeks since Clyda Rovers have last played a competitive championship game, they seem to be very, very scrappy. How big a bearing has the fact that they've had a 5-week delay since their last game? How big a bearing has had that on their play so far?
I think it has had a very big bearing, in fact. And looking at them, they appear to be match steel. And whereas Ballyvourney have had a number of very competitive matches in the last few weeks, Clyda Rovers have had a long wait. And it is something that occurs quite regularly in this junior football competition. And it certainly hasn't helped our lads today. But I would expect in the second half, with a slight advantage towards the dressing room end of the field, that they should get back into the game, and I'll be hoping for a far improved, more determined, more enthusiastic game in the second half. They have the ability, they have the capacity to play much better. I know they have a problem today insofar as Jerry Sullivan, their star midfielder in the past, is ill, and there was great doubt about him before the game. On top of that, one of the forwards, Dennis Corbett, has also been suffering from the flu for the last few days, and none of these has helped. And I think by Jerry not playing to his top performance, it has unsettled the Clyda players, because he is one of the key factors in their success to date.
Finally, Willie, if you were one of the selectors in the dressing room at the moment, what would you be saying to Clyda Rovers right now?
Well, right now I'd be inclined to say to them to steady it, to play more direct football, to kick the ball direct down the field, get the forwards involved in the game more quickly. The game is still there to be won. It can be won. Individually they're good players, and I see no reason with a very determined and more enthusiastic commitment in the second half that they can get back into this game. And I think we are still left with 30 minutes of great football to be played. This team is not easily beaten. The first half has been somewhat disappointing, but this is something that can occur in the game, and I expect that in the second half they will come out a revitalised team.
Donald, if you were in the Ballyvourney dressing room, what would you be saying to the boys at half-time?
Well, I think there's not very much you could say to them, because from the point of view of the half-forwards and the half-backs, there seems to be a very good interplay with the centre field. I mean, Diarmuid Lynch is getting his passes from Jerry Free, and Alan Butler and Liam Ford are helping the centre field as well, where there are any breaks in the ball and so on. You would hope like that the veterans, will say, like Jerry Hoare and Coleman Toomey and Donald Healy, well, he's not a real veteran, Diarmuid McCarthy and Jerry Free could be spared slightly, because it is doubtful can they last a gruelling pace which they have had in the first half. But there's nothing very much I could say on it. Keep it up, lads.
Okay, gentlemen, we'll see as we now go back to the second half. Is on, is it? Right, as we go back to the second half of the County Junior 1 football final at Carrigadrohid, we see that there's changes on the Clyda Rovers team. Martin O'Hanlon, who was injured earlier on in the divisional championship down there, has come on and replaces Brendan Welch, who's playing, of course, at right half forward. So that's Martin Hanlon on as we look out towards the centre of the field. Referee Porter waving the last few officials off the field, throws the ball in, and from the throw-in it's picked up there by Cormac Sullivan. Cormac for Clyda Rovers, putting them on the attack, and now it's Micheál Sullivan. Micheál now steadying himself and kicking it right in towards the goal, but is off target, and it will be another chance for Micheál Creedon to launch another attack for Ballyvourney. So what can Clyda Rovers do in this second half? They trail by 5 points. What can they do to come back into this Junior 1 football final? And from the kick out, Brendan Kelleher is fouled, and it will be Mick O'Shea. Mick, of course, who, as I mentioned earlier on, a former under-21 player with Kerry, is now coming up to take this one, standing well back. Now Mick coming up and kicking this one right into the square. A dangerous one there, fisted in and saved right on the line there by Micheál Creedon. A chance there for Mick O'Sullivan, but Micheál Creedon equal to the task. Micheál, who certainly has saved Ballyvourney on quite a number of occasions this year, particularly in their game against Cove, was equal to the task at that time, and right now he will launch another attack for Ballyvourney, kicking this one out. It's fisted down there by Cormac O'Sullivan, and now it's free in there, an infringement by one of the Ballyvourney players. It looks there like Johnny Allen or Sean Toomey was the one who caused the infringement, and right now it is Mick O'Shea, number 6, on his back, coming up and kicking it right into the edge of the square. He's fisted in there, but fisted straight into the hands of Micheál Creedon, and blocked down there by Mick Sullivan. Mick, who's been a thorn on Micheál Creedon's side there since the start of the second half, just over a minute ago, as the ball goes out to the far side of the field there, off of Jerry O'Sullivan, and it will be a free to Damon McCarthy and to Ballyvourney over there on the far side of the field, about 14 or perhaps 21 metres out. And now it's Donal Lynch to take this one. Donal now coming up and kicking it low down along the sideline. It's fisted, or it's another free. It looked as if it had been fisted out over the line by one of the Clyda Rovers players, but in fact it was a free to be taken by Jerry Lynch. Jerry standing right back up against the wire over there on the far side of the field, now coming up and kicking this one over the halfway line. In fact, it's down along the sideline, but up there right for it there. Mick O'Shea rising up there, but Mick is pushed in the back as he does so, and it will be a free to Mick and to Clyda Rovers. Mick being told to, in fact, to bring the ball forward. Descent there by one of the Ballyvourney players, and Tim O'Callaghan will take this one and kick it over the halfway line, up there right for it. And now in fact it's the substitute Martin Hanlon. Martin, who as I said came on at the start of the second half, and now it's Mick O'Sullivan. Mick fouled there by Jerry Lynch, and it will be a free into Clyda Rovers, their second opportunity since the start of the second half, which is now 3 minutes and 40 seconds old. Their second chance to put their name on the scoreboard and perhaps reduce the deficit. Brendan Kelleher coming up and kicking this one, but kicking a poor ball out to the right and wide. And for some strange reason, Micheál Creedon kicks that one out to the right and has to go out after the ball. A little bit of time wasting by Ballyvourney, perhaps psychological at this stage, to try and slow down the game as much as possible, but considering that Navalbon have been so much on top in the first half, there is little or no need for that kind of thing at this stage, as Micheál comes up now and kicks this one out to the centre of the field, and is fisted forward there by Cormac O'Sullivan, and booted further forward by Cormac O'Sullivan, and Cormac coming up, and in fact it's over the bar, in off the left hand post. Point there for Clyda Rovers, their first score of the second half, and the first score of the second half. Cormac O'Sullivan kicking that one over there for Clyda Rovers, reducing the deficit to 4 points. It's now Navalbon 6 points and Clyda Rovers 2 points as we come up to the 5th minute of the second half. The crowd, huge crowd here at the Carrigadrohid grounds. It's very scenic grounds on the banks of the Lee. The crowd urging both sides on, as Mick O'Shea to Martin Hanlon. Martin now chipping this one into the centre, into Dan O'Sullivan. Dan back to Hanlon, and Hanlon kicking this one high. Gary Owen shot up in the air to drop on the edge of the square. What can Clyda Rovers do with this? It's Dennis Corbett back to Tim O'Callaghan. Tim is back to Mick O'Sullivan. Mick turning and kicking the ball right footed in towards the goal, but oohs and ahs from the crowd as Mick kicked that one out to the right and wide. Certainly Clyda Rovers have been very much on top here in the first 5 minutes of the second half, have had a number of opportunities to reduce the deficit, have taken just one of them. 3 wides for Clyda Rovers in the second half. It just shows the amount of possession they've had. And from this kick out is Cormac O'Sullivan. Cormac being harried and harassed, but turns right and sends it straight to Dan O'Sullivan. To Brendan Kaler. Brendan kicking this one high. It will drop it. Very dangerous ball on the edge of the square. It's fisted in, and it's a goal for Clyda Rovers. A goal for Clyda Rovers. Scored there by number 15, Paddy Curtin. What drama with just 6 minutes gone here in the second half at Carrigadrohid. Paddy Curtin fisting that one right into the back of the net, past the helpless Micheál Creedon. And so, after 6 minutes and 40 seconds in the second half, it's now Clyda Rovers 1 goal and 2 points, and Ballyvourney 6 points. So now Clyda Rovers right back in the game. And from the kick out, it's free on the centre of the field to Jerry Lynch. Certainly that goal rocked the Ballyvourney defence. And from the kick, from the free kick, it's Ballyvourney on the attack as the ball goes out to the far side of the field to Diarmuid Lynch. Diarmuid now being surrounded by 3 Clyda Rovers players and being forced to kick the ball out to the right and wide. So what drama we've had here in the first 7.5 minutes of the second half. And if I can go to you, Willie Cronin, you certainly a big improvement in the Clyda Rovers play in the second half.
Certainly far more determined, more direct play that they are capable of playing, and I think that if they keep up this type of possession and direct play, they will put it up to Ballyvourney, and we're in for a very good game within the next 20 minutes or so.
And right now it's Clyda Rovers on the attack again, is over there on the far side of the field. Cormac O'Sullivan is fouled by Alan Butler, and it will be a free to Clyda Rovers about 35 metres out. So now what can Mick O'Shea do with this? Can he kick the ball right into the square? He kicks it right in, and in fact it's saved there by a chance there for Clyda Rovers, and yet another goal by Dan O'Sullivan. Dan at full forward got on the edge of that and kicked it right into the back of the goal, and so after 8.5 minutes it's now Clyda Rovers 2 goals and 2 points, and Neva Bawn just 6 points. So absolute drama here in the second half at Carrigadrohid. 2 goals in the last 3 minutes for Clyda Rovers. The first one scored by Paddy Curtin, and the second one being scored by Dan O'Sullivan. And so from being 5 points down at half time, suddenly Clyda Rovers find themselves leading by 2 goals and 2 points to Neva Bawn's 6 points. And it looks there from that in the middle of that melee that Micheál Creedon, the Ballyvourney keeper, was injured. The referee going in there to see that Micheál Creedon is okay. And so Johnny Allen will take this kick out. So suddenly Ballyvourney find themselves rocked and concede 2 goals in the space of a few minutes, and now it's Tim O'Callaghan launching another attack for Clyda Rovers, and it's Dennis Corbett, and the ball goes off of Dennis over there on the far side of the field. And now the ball is kicked in towards the centre, up there right for it, and in fact it's Jerry Lynch being fouled there by Tim O'Callaghan, and it will be a free to Ballyvourney just on the halfway line. He comes up now and he kicks it right in towards the centre there. It's dropping down about 25 metres out, up there right for it, and it's fisted in, and here's a chance now for Ballyvourney. It's a goal for Ballyvourney by Diarmuid Lynch. Oh, what drama we have now. It's Ballyvourney, a goal to Diarmuid Lynch after 11 minutes of the second half. And if the first half here at the county final was dull, the first 11 minutes have made up for the entire first half. We've had 3 goals, 2 down at the Clyda Rovers end, and 1 now for Ballyvourney through Diarmuid Lynch, and suddenly the score is now 1 goal and 6 points for Ballyvourney, and 2 goals and 2 points for Clyda Rovers. And now it will be Noel Carey to take this free. Chips it up over the halfway line, up there right for it. It's fisted down, and now it's Diarmuid McCarthy. Diarmuid, determination in his face, the captain of the team. What can he do with this ball? He kicks it right in towards the open space here, and now it's Diarmuid Lynch. Diarmuid, the man who manufactured that goal a while ago, kicks it right out across the goal. It's going out. Will it go out over the sideline? John Buckley racing out for it with Jerry Hoare. Jerry, in fact, gets the ball, rounds the Clyda Rovers defender and sends it to Coleman Toomey, and Coleman sets it into Alan Butler, and Alan will try a shot from about 25 metres out, but Alan, who in fact is a back, what he was doing away up there I'm not quite sure, but he kicks that one out to the right and wide. And so after 12 minutes and 20 seconds of the second half, it's still Ballyvourney leading by 1 point. They lead 1-6 to Clyda Rovers, 2 goals and 2 points. And from the kick out by Paul Welch, it's Tim O'Callaghan going high for the ball, being fouled though, and it will be a free to Clyda Rovers, and Tim going back himself to take this one. Comes up now and kicks it over the halfway line. It's straight into Martin Hanlon, and Martin is fouled by Liam Ford, and it will be a free to Clyda Rovers to be taken by Mick O'Shea. Mick, who's been taking all the frees today for Clyda Rovers this side of the halfway line. Mick now coming up and launching another attack for Clyda Rovers. The ball will bob on the edge of the square, and the ball is dribbling around now, and it's Pardy Curtin. Pardy getting this one and kicking it back to Martin Hanlon, and Martin kicking that one over the bar and bringing the teams all level here at Carrigadrohid. Martin, who was the sub on the team, injured in the North Cork final, but now Martin certainly showing his worth, sending that one over the bar for Clyda Rovers. And so after 14 minutes of the second half, it's 2 goals and 3 points for Clyda Rovers, and 1 goal and 6 points for Ballyvourney. Jerry Lynch being fouled there on the halfway line. Donald, what's your opinion of the second half? We've hardly had time to draw our breath here since the start of the second half.
Well, things aren't going too well at all for Ballyvourney. Clyda Rovers got, I consider them 2 reasonably lucky goals, but Ballyvourney were great to come back and get a goal, which was a very good goal.
And right now it's Clyda Rovers defenders trying to bring the ball out, but in fact he overplays the ball, and it will be a free in to Ballyvourney to be taken by Dan Healy. Dan, who scored 4 points in the first half for Ballyvourney. Can Dan put Ballyvourney back into the ascendancy? The team's all level here as Dan comes up and chips this one, but unfortunately chips it out to the right and wide. A chance there, gonna begging for Ballyvourney. And right now it's Paul Welch going back and trying to send this one out to the far side of the field. It comes straight to the hands of Jerry Lynch, and now Jerry moving forward, absolute determination on his face, comes up and kicks this one over to the right and wide though. Certainly chances gonna begging there for Ballyvourney in the last minute or so with Dan Healy, and that chance for Jerry Lynch, as now Paul Welch comes up and kicks this one, short one, out to the side of the field, comes straight to Timmy Callahan. Timmy being harassed and harried, and now it's Ballyvourney on the attack there with Diarmuid Lynch, and Diarmuid a chance. What can he do with this one? He kicks it over the bar, and so Ballyvourney go back into the lead. Diarmuid Lynch kicking that one over the bar, and so after 16 minutes Ballyvourney lead by 1 goal and 7 points to 2 goals and 3 points for Clyda Rovers. As Paul Welch kicks this one, it will drop just short of the halfway line, and it's Mick Sullivan. Mick launching another attack for Clyda Rovers. Up there, right for it, over there on the far side of the field now. And now it's Dennis Corbett. Dennis loses the ball though, and it's stalemate about 14 metres out now. And referee blowing his whistle, and foul there on Johnny Allen, and it will be a free out to Navarone. Willie, certainly excitement here in the galore here in the first 15 minutes of the second half, and at this stage it's anybody's game.
Indeed, it is anybody's game. There's some very good football, some very direct football by both sides, and I think it's all to be played for yet. It's very difficult to know what the outcome will be. Both teams are giving their full hearts to the game, and we have a delightful game of wholehearted football here.
And right now it's Jerry Lynch sending the ball over to this side of the field to Diarmid Lynch. Diarmid now, what can he do? Can he get around O'Callaghan? O'Callaghan is pulling him in and pushing him, but Lynch overplays the ball, and it will be a free out to Clyda Rovers. Tim O'Callaghan himself going back there to take this one. And the ball coming out from that free out to this side of the field, and it will be a line ball, and Jerry Lynch coming over here himself to take this one. Donal, you were mentioning that there's changes on the Ballyvourney.
As far as I can see, Paddy Murphy has come out centre half back, and Johnny Allen has gone in full back. I mean, something had to be done anyway there, and it seems to be holding better than it was at the very beginning of this half.
So now what can Jerry Lynch do with this one? Straight down here in front of us, just short of the halfway line. Slips as he kicks it, but gets a good kick in, and the ball will drop down around 14 metres out. Clyda Rovers player gets the ball, and that's Noel Carey. Noel, the full back on the team, getting that one, is fouled as he tries to come forward by Coleman Toomey, and Noel takes this one himself, and the ball comes now to Jerry O'Sullivan. Jerry now trying to launch an attack for Clyda, and it's Martin O'Hanlon. Martin now kicking this one right into the square. This is going to be a dangerous ball. Up there right for it, and the full back on the team, that's Paddy Murphy. Dan O'Sullivan, and the ball is kicked out, in fact, for 45 by Johnny Allen at 45 there for Clyda Rovers. But certainly there was danger as that ball dropped on the edge of the square. Paddy Murphy went for it, missed it, and in the end it was kicked out over the end line, and it will now be a 45 for Clyda Rovers with 19 minutes gone here in the second half. And it's Mick O'Shea. Can Mick kick this one over the bar and bring the teams all square? Steadies up now, comes up and kicks this one right footed right in, and in fact it's gone out to the left and gone wide. A chance there, gone a begging for Mick O'Shea. And so after 19 and a half minutes of the second half, it's still Ballyvourney leading by 1 point. They lead on a scoreline of 1 goal and 7 points to Clyda Rovers, 2 goals and 3 points. Just the bare minimum between the sides, as Micheál Creedon back taking the kick-outs again after that melee when he was injured a while ago. And from the kick-out, Sean Toomey gets the ball and sends it straight down the field towards Dan Healy. Dan sends it straight to Diarmid Lynch. Diarmid now soaring forward and kicks it out to Jerry Hoare, and Jerry will kick this one right into the edge of the square. Danger here for Clyda Rovers, but Paul Welch is equal to the task, and Paul kicks it out straight to a Ballyvourney player on the far side of the field, and that looks like Diarmid McCarthy over there on the far side of the field. The ball is chipped in to a Clyda Rovers defender, and the ball, that's Noel Carey, and Noel sends it straight to Diarmid McCarthy. Very scrappy play over there at the moment, and it's Brendan Kaler to Cormac O'Sullivan, and Cormac will clear his lines for Navarone. The ball will drop on the halfway line to Mick O'Sullivan. Mick now will send Clyda Rovers on the attack, and a race for possession here on the Paddy Murphy, and Paddy is it's in fact Johnny Allen was the man, beg your pardon, Johnny Allen was the man there who was fouled by Paddy Curtin, and referee Porter calling Curtin over, wagging the finger at him, but leaves the book in his pocket. And now it will be a free to Johnny Allen, the man who was fouled there. And now it's Johnny Allen will kick this one. It will drop just on the halfway line. Jerry Lynch going up there for it, but it's Diarmuid McCarthy. Diarmuid now sending it out to this side of the far side, to this side of the field, to Dan Healy, and Dan now soloing forward, trying to launch an attack, sending it over there to the far side of the field. The ball bobbling around about 14 metres out. Jerry Hoare, Jerry picking that one up and being surrounded by 1, 2, 3 Clyda Rovers players, overplays the ball, and it will be a free out to Clyda Rovers, quickly taken by now it's Cormac O'Sullivan with the ball, and it's picked up there by number 7. That's Liam Ford, and Liam sends it straight to a Clyda Rovers player, and it's Mickey Lynch gets the ball, and Mickey sends it back to Alan Butler. Alan sends it straight along the line towards Diarmuid McCarthy, and now it's Johnny Allen. John, who's been playing a marvellous game for Ballyvourney in the second half, sends it out to the far side of the field. 2 Ballyvourney players, 1 Clyda Rovers players. It goes past them all, and now it's John Buckley. John going back and getting the ball and being fouled, and it's a free to Clyda Rovers. Willie, you were mentioning that there's changes on the Clyda Rovers team there in the last minute or so.
Brendan Keller has come to field, centre field, and Jerry Sullivan has gone in centre forward. Jerry, who I said had been ill during the week, could do with the rest, and Brendan is young and active and should do well at centre field.
So right now we have a free over there on the far side of the field. The ball will drop down from the free, and it's picked up now by Mick O'Sullivan, and Mick will launch an attack for Clyda Rovers. The ball goes forward, and now it's Cormac O'Sullivan. Cormac now about 21 metres out, kicking the ball right across the goal, out to the left though, but a wide, another wide ball for Clyda Rovers. And so with 23 minutes gone in a very, very exciting second half and a very exciting County Junior 1 football final, Naomh Bán still lead by the narrowest margins. That's 1 point. It's 1 goal and 7 points for Naomh Bán, and 2 goals. It looks as if there's another substitute on the Clyda Rovers team. We'll tell you about that in a second. But right now, it's Clyda Rovers and Jerry Sullivan kicking it in and over the bar. A snapshot there by the centre field man, Jerry O'Sullivan. A snapshot from about 25 metres out, kicking it over the bar. And now the teams are definitely all level with just 7 minutes to go in the second half here. That snapshot from Jerry Sullivan. And so it's 2 goals and 4 points for Clyda Rovers, and 1 goal and 7 points for Naomh Bán. A substitute, Willie, on the Clyda Rovers team.
Willie Welch has come in at left half forward, and Martin Henlon has gone back right half back in exchange with John Buckley, who has gone off.
So what effect will that will those changes have on the Clyda Rovers play? But right now it's Jerry Lynch winning a free, dead centre of the field, straight in front of us. This game certainly is anybody's for the taking at the moment. We have just now little over 6 minutes to go as Jerry Lynch launches another attack for Naomh Bán, and the ball from that attack comes to Cathal Cronin, and Cathal fists it into the centre to Cormac O'Sullivan. Cormac now soloing forward, putting Clyda Rovers on the attack to Dennis Corbett, but Dennis misjudges the ball, and it's picked up there by Donal Lynch, and Donal is fouled, and it will be a free to Naomh Bán over there on the far side of the field, about 40 metres out. The excitement here at the Carrigadrohid grounds almost at fever pitches from this free by Allen. The ball drops down around 35 metres out, and suddenly Naomh Bán are on the attack there with Dan Healy, and Dan soloing forward. What can Dan do? He kicks it in, and in fact over the bar, and Dan Healy comes to the rescue of Naomh Bán once again, and puts them another point ahead. It's now 1 goal and 8 points for Naomh Bán, and 2 goals and 4 points for Clyda Rovers. The bare minimum between the sides again. as Clyda Rovers win a free on the centre of the field. And substitutes on the Navalbond team. We'll tell you about that in a second as the ball comes out here to Dermot Lynch. Dermot being dispossessed, but sends the ball straight to Cormac to Carl Cronin, and from the ball goes over there on the far side of the field, and now it's Clyda Rovers on the attack with Mick O'Sullivan. Mick being harassed and harried by a number of Ballyvourney players, and from that melee it's Johnny Allen, and Johnny is still with the ground. He's still on the ground, but he overplays the ball, and it's a chance for Clyda Rovers with just 3-4 minutes left in the second half here at Carrigadrohid in the County Junior 1 football final. A chance for Clyda Rovers to bring the game all square. Now there are substitutes on the Ballyvourney team. Donald Cronin came in there instead of Coleman Toomey a while ago, and we know now that there's another substitute. Sean Kelleher is gone in instead of Liam Ford. So now we watch this free for Clyda Rovers, and it comes in, and it's danger here on the edge of the square. The ball is blocked down there and sent out for Ballyvourney. And now it looks as if it's Diarmuid McCarthy. Diarmuid now to the rescue for Ballyvourney. Sends it straight to Diarmuid Lynch, and Diarmuid now will put Ballyvourney on the attack to Donald Cronin. Donald, who just came on there as a substitute moments ago instead of Coleman Toomey. It's now with Kevin Lynch, and Kevin is fouled, and it will be a free to Ballyvourney. With, as we look at the watch again, just a little over 2 minutes left in the second half. And let's remind you of the score again. It's 1 goal and 8 points for Ballyvourney, 2 goals and 4 points for Clyda Rovers. It narrows the margins as Johnny Lynch comes off and chips this one forward. It's now kicked in towards the square there. Danger now as the ball drops down about 14 metres out. A snapshot, but the ball is sent out there towards Johnny Lynch. What can Johnny do with this one? He kicks it in, and it's kicked out and picked up there by Paul Welch. Paul now to Cormac O'Sullivan. What can Cormac do with this? He launches an attack. The ball goes down over the halfway line. It's fisted out this far side of the field to Brendan Kelleher. Brendan, a red-headed player, to Paddy Curtin. What can Paddy do with this? Absolute drama. Just a little over 2 minutes left. The ball is kicked up and sent in, and Micheál Creedon is equal to the task and to the rescue, and he kicks the ball out to this side of the field. And in fact it's Brendan Kelleher. Brendan now chipping the ball out to the far side of the field to Cormac O'Sullivan. Cormac with a chance, kicking it right in, but it's fisted out there, and it's picked up there by Paddy Murphy, and Paddy to the rescue for Navalbond. Sends it out to the side of the field to Alan Butler. What can Alan do with this one? And the ball out to Donald Cronin, back to Kevin Lynch, and Kevin, it's but equal to the task is Noel Carey, and Noel, absolute drama here in the last few minutes to Jerry O'Sullivan. What can Jerry do with this one? He wins the free, and in fact it looks as if Michael Lynch, the cornerback on the Navalbond team, is injured, but in the meantime it will be a free for Clyda Rovers. What a vital free kick with just over literally half a minute left in the second half here at the Carrigadrohid ground. Certainly we've had fever pitch excitement from almost the throw-in at the start of the second half. Now what can Mick O'Shea, as he waits to see how badly injured the Navalbond player is, but I'm sure that's not the uppermost thing on his mind at the moment, as Mick O'Shea, perhaps the most vital free kick that he's ever taken in his long career to date. He comes up now and he kicks this one right into the edge of the square. It's going out to the left. Oh, a danger there, and it's saved right on the line. Saved on the line by Donald Lynch, and Donald to the rescue for Navalbond, and the ball comes out now to Brendan Kelleher. It's going out over the sideline, and in fact it will be a line ball to Clyda Rovers, as the referee comes out and tells the mentors from both sides to stop encroaching on the pitch. But right now it's a line ball to Clyda Rovers. and this one now to be taken by Cormac Sullivan. In fact, we've gone over the full-time whistle. Minters urging the players to get their act together inside as Cormac O'Sullivan kicks this one in, and in fact it will be. In fact, it is all over. It's all over, and Navarbourne have won. Navarbourne have won their first county title since 1973. What drama, what suspense we've had here in the second half. They win by the narrowest of margins. 1 goal and 8 points to Clyda Rovers. 2 goals and 4 points. What heartbreak for Clyda Rovers, but what joy for Navarbourne. I'm sure that the greatest area of West Cork will echo tonight with the joy of this long-awaited victory, their first victory in a county title since 1973. They win on a scoreline of 1 goal and 8 points to Clyda Rovers, 2 goals and 4 points.
For the fill a gunta corki Tommy Trish Comortis is Stockere a Vogtint a Krieg noon Soinov Agus Tres Stream de Shanga Eden Hogader Clehe Sarva going Gineder and Nihel the reader left finger Agus less sport Gomor more Sadarela Norvin and the Forna Ada Hodam Dinim Kogardachus Leneva Barn Agus Agus Tres Limid de Fanahe in the Clyda near Evan Bokonov Ach Tukigala Rish Acharde Nile Tarfa Panu to Kaini Shea, Marnileno the Tastal of Winter Ballyvourney and Omshaw Achan Corn. Agus
and so this is the moment as the county board representative hands the cup to Damon McCarthy, captain of Navarbourne, and through scenes of jubilation here as Damon reaches forward.
I want to get him this fall. I got 2 minutes over here. The old fellas come in here. Lucy! Get in here. Ready? Come up here. Lucy, wait 1 second. 1-4. Lucy, get in here. Lucy! Come up. Come in. Come up here. Look, come on. Hey, get in. Get in. Get in. Come on. Get in the floor. Scanlon. Where's Scanlon? Scanlon. Get me in there. That's all I want to be.
Right. Acharde tá anas agus an orm an conseo ghlacha san for Navarbourne. Mar con tilte again for riamh tá sé tilte again for seo. Mar Tommy ag trénáil an feholad mi anar agus bhí an toragin in ob agus is tá anas orm gur hála sé mar seo. Friends, I'm indeed very proud and honoured to accept this trophy on behalf of Navarbourne, because if there was ever a trophy or a cup that any team deserved, this team deserved it. From the amount of work and training and pure determination that was shown all through this campaign, and I'm delighted for each and every one of the players, subs, selectors, and having said that, I would like to thank each of the selectors, Johnny Cronin, Tara Kelly, Tommy Butler and Coleman Toomey, and very much so Coleman Toomey. I don't think we would be here today, or I would have this cup only for Coleman to me. And as captain, on behalf of the team, I would like to thank him very sincerely for what he has done for us this year. And I finish off by giving 3 cheers for Clyda Rovers. It was a good, tough game. Luck didn't just go their way on the day, and it went our way, but that's the way it goes. I'm quite sure they'll be back again. Hip hip! Hip hip! Hip hip! Thank you very much.
Things fresh to saw.
So we better keep on the camera there on this front stage. You'll get knocked down by so you will it.
Yeah, that's the way it was.
Monday morning or I usually go to Sunday, but I'm going back to tomorrow morning. Having a dinner or we can't get to be around I know.
And that's the best of luck to you. We're heartbroken, but it is great to see a good club win it. Best of luck to you.
Right here in a victorious and joyful Navalbourne dressing room immediately after the game, I'm joined by one of their star midfielders, Sean Toomey. Sean, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
I said star midfielder, you certainly played an absolute blinder there at midfield today. Why do you think that midfield now, the questions have been asked about that all the year, but you certainly answered your critics in a big way today?
Well, we played well today. I think we had a lot of work to do because our last few performances have been under par, and we decided, Jerry and myself decided today that we were going to make up for that. And we played well, but we got great support from Dave McCarthy. He was coming in and covering a lot of the breaks, and I think that was the main factor, that we were made to look good with Dermot helping us out.
Now, there was a number of times there in the second half, I mentioned during the commentary, you seem to be popping up on what's on the edge of your own square half back line. You were under tremendous pressure there in the second half.
Well, they had the win, so we knew that we'd have to be a small bit further back in the second half. And it was deliberate that we'd stay back more and we'd let the ball through quickly, and hopefully our half hours to get under the break, and they were doing it. J.A.F.F was doing an awful lot of coming back and collecting it. That helped us out. He was like an extra defender as well. So,
And what does this victory mean to you personally?
well, to me personally, I mean, all through the years I used to be ready about him and support him and having my blue flag, but this year I came back and I said I'd try and be part of the team, really. So it's great to be part of the team anyway, you know. I've another few years left to be, hopefully anyway.
Okay, Sean, thank you very much. I'm now joined by Jerry Lynch, a veteran but a star midfielder today. First of all, Jerry, congratulations.
Thank you, thank you.
You played an absolute blinder there at all times during the game, particularly there in the second half when you were under pressure. Were you getting worried at any stage that it might just slip away from you?
Well, I thought like we controlled the first half. 10 minutes into the second half they came at us. They put a couple of high balls in, they got goals, they made the break. But then I'd say we hit back with a fantastic goal. I think the couple of seconds even after their second goal, like our only goal of the game, I think was the killing point of the game. The backs again, just hard, what can you say? Any back line which you keep out of forward, hold him make the mistake, has to be good like.
Now, you were 5 points up at half time. What did your mentors and selectors say to you here in the dressing room at half time?
Well, we knew, and all of us, like that was going to be the first 10 minutes was going to be the winning part of that game, which we didn't work that well because I said they hit in the high ball, they got the 2 goals, but again repeating Diarmuid Lynch's goal, which sort of brought us back into it. We held it back and forth. I knew if we came back after they scoring the second goal, I knew we'd win, and it's a great sign of a team. All year this team has come back when the other team has attacked.
Now, you're one of the veterans on the team. What does this victory mean to you today?
Well, to me, going back, I suppose, the late 60s, 70s, when we won our first mid-Cork, we had no county won. Now we've a couple of counties won. Today it was the sweetest because all year we were marked outsiders. Everyone said we were lucky, but it's the first time I would say in 10 years I saw young fellas coming into the team, and it's nice to see the young fellas there. Okay,
Jerry, thanks very much. Now I'm joined by Micheál Creedon. Micheál, 2 got past you, but in the last 5 minutes of the game there you made a couple of heroic saves. Were you getting worried towards the end there? They were actually launching attack after attack on you.
I was worried, but I knew that our forwards were on song today, and that if we got enough ball up beyond midfield, that we'd beat them. Plus the fact that we've been surviving all the year on a point or 2 points, and I felt that it was going to take a superhuman effort from Clyda Rovers to beat us, because our backs were hassling them all the way, and they just couldn't seem to get that point, you know.
You know, as I said to Jerry a while ago, you were 5 points off at half time. You came back into the second half and you were a point behind within 10 minutes. Was there any complacency started in you at the start of the second half?
Well, I don't think there was any complacency, but there's a stage in every game when if a team is dominant, that the other team comes into it, and I think we were dominating the first half totally, and it was obvious that Clyda Rovers were going to come into the game. No, they were either going to come into it in the first 10 minutes of the second half or in the last 10 minutes, and as it happened, you know, they came into it in the second half, the first 5 minutes of the second half. I think from the throw-in actually they came at us, and you know, they got the 2 goals which brought them back into the game, and they had their tails up, but you must remember they never led us at any stage during the game, you know.
Now the 2 goals, I hate mentioning it in your hour of glory, but they looked to me 2 reasonably soft goals.
Well, the first one was a high ball that was kicked in, and Micheál Lynch's man was too tall for him really, you know, and he just punched it into the corner. The second goal was a ball that was going over the bar, which I brought down, was coming over it, and the ball went down for me. I went down on top of it and got a kick it into the face, and the ref allowed it, you know. So I don't remember any more of it after that. For about 5 minutes I was slightly concussed.
But certainly you did very well towards the end there. Finally, Micheál, you've been around with Navalbourne for quite a long time. What does this victory mean to you personally today?
I think this to me is the sweetest county to win, because first of all, last January, and even I think the first day after beating Carrigadrohid, nobody gave us a chance of winning even the mid-Cork final. We knew ourselves, we had the work put into it. We started training last January, and we felt if we gave it that type of commitment we would win it. I won a county in 77, an intermediate county, but I suppose at the time I was only 17 years of age. It didn't mean as much to me as this one means. I'm now 28 years of age. I hope it's not my last county. But this I think is the sweetest, because nobody, even our own supporters, didn't expect us to win this one, and they are the sweetest ones to win, I think.
Okay, Micheál, Cogardagus, agus Guramagat. Now with me I have the trainer of the team, Coleman Toomey. Coleman, congratulations first of all.
Thanks very much. Thanks very
Now
much.
I'm sure that you'll agree that all the nights that you had these boys slogging above in the pitch have all more than paid off today.
They have all more than paid off. Really, we had a very, very long campaign. We started training on the 20th of January last. And I reckon to date we have put in 130 sessions of training and matches. And indeed, there were bad nights. I'll give you one instance of a night. There was a flood. I didn't think anybody turned up. We couldn't walk in the field. There were 15 players in the field, and we trained for a solid hour in water. I think that's the kind of determination and spirit that won that game today.
Now you've moulded this team over the last 7 or 8 or perhaps even 9 months at this stage into what it now turns out to be a championship winning team. What do you think that this team has had that previous Ballyvourney teams haven't had?
Well, one thing they have, and something previous Ballyvourney teams had, was they had a fierce determination to win and a fierce spirit. If you ask this team to run up anywhere, they do it. You know, they were that type of fellas. There was a great mixture of youth and age there, and they blended very well. They had become a family before the end of it, you know, and they played for each other, backed each other up, and I think that's the ingredient you need to win a county championship.
Now, what did you say to those guys, or what did the other selectors say to those guys at half-time when they, I asked another one of the lads there a while ago about it as well, but I'd like to hear your version of what you told them at half-time.
Well, we were pretty comfortable at half-time, but we knew the game was only half over, and we knew they were going to come at us. We knew if we could hold them in the first 10 minutes, which it transpired we didn't, but we knew if we could hold them in the first 10 minutes that we'd beat them well. But as it turned out, they got 2 goals, but I must say, Diarmuid came back and got the goal of the hour. When he ran 40 yards, collected and put it in the back of the net. I think that was the turning point of the game. They never recovered after that.
They came out and, as you rightly said, they rattled you in the first 10 minutes, but you never panicked.
No, this team are very confident. They know what they're doing, they know where they're going. They have a great will to win, and they were never going to say die until the final whistle blew. I knew they wouldn't.
Now, I suppose all selectors and all trainers are usually asked the same question on an hour like this. Are you going to stay around next year and train them when they go up to intermediate?
Yes, I am. I'm going to stick with them another year, because I feel we'll win the intermediate next year.
Okay, Coleman, thank you very much. And so now we know that Coleman is going to be around again next year. Now, with me I have the man of the moment, Diarmuid McCarthy, captain of the team. Diarmuid, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Were you worried at any stage, and I'll say at the stage 12, 13 minutes into the second half, when you suddenly found yourselves from being, 5 points ahead to having had Clyda Rovers score 2 quick goals in it?
Yeah, we found ourselves 2 points down at that stage. It was very early in the second half, and actually Coleman told us at half time, if we hold them for the first 10 minutes of the second half, we'll win it comfortably. As it transpired, they got 2 quick goals. They really put us on the rack, but this team has gone through so much this year and have pulled the games out of the fire so many times. I know we'd be there in the finish, or we'd be very close. As it happened, we scored a goal straight after their 2 goals, and you know, for a while they found it hard to settle again. Then we kicked over a point. They came back and got a point, and we got the winning point after that. But I always knew this team was, for going out on the field today, I knew we were going to be in there with a shout at the finish, whether we were up at half-time, whether we were down at half-time, because I think the team has shown all through the year that they're a team that never say die, and they won't give up.
Now, your midfield played extremely well today, which obviously had a big bearing on the game.
Played very well. Actually, we were told this morning that there was an article in the newspaper in the Avondhu during the week that the Clyda Rovers midfield were unbeatable. Now, our 2 players went out today with that in their mind, and I think if not 50-50, even maybe 55-45, we won at midfield today, I'd say.
Now, he won by the narrowest of margins in the end. What do you think now, as captain, was the essential difference between yourselves and Clyda Rovers?
Well, I think it was pure grit, determination, and heart to win the game for us. We never gave up. Every fella held his corner right to the bitter end. You know, it was very similar to the Midcock final. We were on the rack for the last 2 or 3 minutes, but we didn't allow them to score. You know, and I think that's the ingredients you need to win a county. It's the ingredients you need to win any match, actually, but even more so a county championship. I'm sure Clyda Rovers will be back again. They're a very good side.
Now, you've been playing with Ballyvourney for quite a long time. How sweet is this victory for you today?
Well, it's personally it's the sweetest one of all, because you know, back in 1973 I was involved. I was very young at the time. I didn't realise that time the amount of work that goes into winning a county championship. I was going to school at the time. I wasn't training all the year. The rest of the fellas were. But this year, I've trained since the 20th of January, and I can tell you it has been a tough campaign. But personally, it's the sweetest victory of all for me.
Okay, Dermot Gurmarket. Now, quite a number of terms have been used to describe the man standing beside me. Man of the match, quite a lot of people are saying that he is and was. Dan Healy, congratulations first of all on your performance.
Thank you very much. Delighted with our win, to the team performance. I'm wrecked after today. It was a brilliant game.
Now, you apart from anyone else, was the difference between the two sides in the first half?
Well, things seemed to go right for me in the first half, so I took my chances and they came off. That's what Comm told me to do, was the trainer to go for everything, and I went for them, and they came off in the day, and I'm delighted they did in the day.
Now, you scored 5 points in total, 4 in the first half, but yet 10-12 minutes into the second half, you found yourselves 2 points behind. Panic did not set in.
No, that's one thing we didn't do, is we didn't panic, and we kept it cool, and Dermot Lynch, nobody else did get a goal the way Dermot Lynch got it, and I knew when he had the ball in his hands it was inside the back of the net, because he's brilliant at taking scores like that. And once we got that goal, we kept cool, and eventually we came out trumps.
Now, what does this victory mean to you personally?
I don't know. And this was the end of the road for me, so I was going to give one heck of a performance, try it any for the day, but I don't know, after this I'd have to think about it again, because it's so long since I played so well that I don't know.
And then how long have you actually been playing with Naverbourne?
21 years this year. I'm playing since I was 8 years of age. It's a long road. I'm weary from it now, and I'm living in Cork now, and it's 64 miles of a journey every day, every Tuesday and Thursday night, and it's getting to me, and I have a wound to J.A.F.F. as well.
Playing matches then this time of the year, it is unfair on players to be, like, as Coleman mentioned a while ago, he started training back last January. This is almost 12 months later and you're still at it.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer that over a period of 2 or 3 months all the championships should be played, but it's impossible, and we have to do what we've got. I suppose it's the longest championship in the country, but it should have done the most amount of teams in this championship, so we can't do anything about it really. So.
Okay, but I'm sure right now you're not particularly worried about that. Dan, thank you very much. Okay, there you have it, the story of the 1988 Junior 1 football final. A marvellous game, perhaps one of the best games that we've seen in the county this year so far, and a game that we've had the privilege of bringing you to here on LTV. A game literally of 2 halves. Ballyvourney very much on top in the first half, led at half time by 6 points to 1. Were rattled in the first 12 minutes of the second half when Clyda Rovers came back and scored 2 goals. But in the end, Naverbourne came out and won by the narrowest of margins, 2 goals and 4 points to 1 goal in 8. We hope that you've enjoyed our coverage of the game, and from us all here at Carrigadrohid, good night.